Hi everybody, it's Net from the Art of Intuition, and today we're going to talk about how our human realities limit our choices. Or do they? Or do they? That is the question we're going to discuss. And this came up because there was a quote in a movie, and the quote was, do it now, because the characters were young in the movie, do it now before life limits your choices. And I thought it was a very interesting quote, that life limits our choices. But I thought that the real spin on that was, it's not so much life limits our choice, we limit our choices. We construct a life that leaves us very little room. We construct a life, whether it be heavy mortgage payments, a lot of bills we have to pay, so we have to stay at a certain job, whether it be we have large animals, so moving into a smaller place would be difficult, whether it be now I have children and I don't want to move their school or move across country because they're happy with where they are. So the concept of life limiting our choices really comes back down to us limiting our choices and our human consciousness limiting our choices because of what it chooses to unconsciously do. Now, our human consciousness is unconscious, okay? It is the unconscious part of our soul. It is not the part that kind of knows the rest of the plan. It's not the kind of part that knows really what's going on. It kind of just follows along, but it really doesn't know everything. And it really doesn't understand more than just its little part to play, which is to keep us alive, to keep us unconscious, keep us protected, really from our conscious parts of ourselves. So what it does is it will start to create scenarios where we start trying to fill up our world with all this external stuff. And by filling up with all this external stuff, we kind of start to wall ourselves in. And by walling ourselves in, we then say we don't have any other, we can't go do this. Oh, I can't go do that reality because of this. Oh, I can't go do that reality because of this. We have the physical constructs that say we can't go do it. And then we'll have the mental constructs that say we can't go do it. I don't want to go do that job because if I go do that job, I would be in the low part of the totem pole and I'd be getting coffee. And I'm not going to get coffee. I'm too important to get coffee or something to that extent. I say that because I had a conversation with someone like that. Whereas if this person could go do his dream job, which I think was to work for the Chicago Cubs at the time, but if it was to get coffee, but it was still your dream job just to be in that environment and to be there, but because of his constructs of that he was a CEO at a company or whatever, he was not going to do that. So sometimes our mental constructs, and we can even say human beliefs, we can say our human value system, we can say our human inflated value system keeps us from doing a lot of this stuff too. And it'll keep us kind of in our little hidey hole of what we will do and what we won't do, whether it's because we physically have said, oh, I can't move all this stuff, or we mentally say, no, I'm better than that. Or we go the other way and say, oh no, I'm not good enough to do that. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. So you're gonna be walling yourself in one direction or the other. And what happens when we get to certain parts of our awakening and certain parts of our ascension is that our soul will show us none of this stuff keeps us trapped. The only reason these things keep us trapped because we believe they keep us trapped. We kind of subscribe to that these things keep us trapped. None of them do. And that's why a lot of these things start falling away. Oh, you say you can't leave because you have this house, or you can't leave this job because you have this huge house payment. Okay, we're just going to have to take that job away, and then you can lose the house, because our soul cares about none of that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't even care about, a marriage contract. Those are all human contracts. Doesn't care about any of that stuff. We don't care if we have to pull the relationship out from under you. We'll pull the house out from under you. We'll pull the job out from under you. We will strip you down to nothing to show you that none of that stuff is you. None of that stuff is really constricting you. The only thing constricting you is yourself. So when we get into other parts of ascension, it can feel so like we have to walk through so much fear and break through so much of our own human belief systems because we have to show that they're really not true. Who cares if we're getting coffee in a reality, if it's a reality we want to participate in and we're having a good time? That doesn't matter. Our universe will show you it doesn't matter. Whether it has to strip you down to where that's the only job you can get is getting coffee in this establishment, it'll show you you're not too good to get coffee. And you're supposed to be here for a different reason. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're sweeping the floor or getting coffee, none of that stuff matters. That's just how we believe it matters. That's what we think. We think all that stuff makes a difference when it doesn't. So whether your higher aspects, the universe is bringing down the physical stuff and taking that out, or it's making you walk through the mental constructs because it leaves you no other way. No other way forward but to go forward. And if it walls off every other window and every other door but that one, but going through that one means you either have to take a big step back in your what you feel like you should be doing, whether it be, or go forward in fear to something you don't feel like you can do, or you're not, air quote, good enough to do, or you're not qualified to really do that. Or a lot of times we do stuff that maybe we're not qualified to do sometimes. And when I talk about that, I see a lot of people, and I did the same thing. A lot of times we will talk about stuff or teach stuff that maybe we're not 100% through it yet. Maybe we don't 100% understand it yet. But by sharing the information, by delving into it, we gain more information and we get the higher frequency. We're running more of the higher frequency to kind of help ourselves along with helping other people. I remember when I was volunteering and did Reiki years ago, about a decade ago, I used to do it at a hospital. And when I did it, I just remember being so excited every day when I could go. And I was doing it in a hospital really far away, so I was driving like an hour to go do it at this hospital. So excited to go. And part of it was because I knew I'd be able to help other people. But the bigger part for me, honestly, was I could connect with myself and run those frequencies for like an hour and a half, or 2 hours, or however long we went. I don't remember anymore how long it was. But I was able to be in that energy, would help me clear my stuff while I was going through what looked like I was doing with somebody else. So that's a massive part of the process that we will go through, where we kind of help others and we're also helping ourselves. It's a reason we're there, but it's never really the reason we think. And we're really never trapped. And your universe will show you you're never trapped by taking all these things away. That's why it feels so jarring when everything gets taken away. Because it's all the stuff our humans said kept us there. And I can't leave. Oh, I can't leave. I can't take the kids out of school. Well, okay, now we're going to have to take all the kids out of school. Because your universe will leave you no other choice. That's why we have no other choice. Because we have to break down the barriers. Anything we say we can't do, anything we say we can't live without, anything we say keeps us kind of in this reality. It's that old adage, be careful what you wish for, in a sense, in our human consciousness, because you'll be surprised what you will have to let go of. You'll be surprised what can get taken away. You'll be surprised what you have to rearrange when you're in the middle of that. When you are really feeling compressed and everything starts going away, and it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I guess I didn't need that. Oh, wait, I guess I will go do that. I don't really care if I'm, whatever role I'm playing in reality, I just have to go do something right now. I've seen it happen again and again and again. It happens to people. I'll watch their realities when they start to collapse. I'll watch them kind of wall themselves in. I watch me wall myself in. And you keep kind of doubling down, trapping yourselves more and more and more in a reality so you can't break yourself out. And all we really do is kind of wall ourselves in with the enemy. We're just walling ourselves in with ourselves, saying, oh no, I can't break out of this. But it's our mind that believes that. Life does not limit our choices. We limit our choices. Our human consciousness limits our choices because it puts so many obstacles in the way of us making a different choice. That's why Ascension can be so harsh when you get to those parts of rearranging everything. because ascended realities are not what human realities were. And you have to go through a long process of watching a lot of stuff go away and not having a lot to rebuild with for a long time, whether it be money, whether it be really knowing what you want to rebuild or knowing how to rebuild it, to something that is soul aligned and higher aligned. Because if we're given the tools to rebuild it right away, we'd rebuild it the same way our human conscience told us to rebuild it. So we have to break through all that. And if we don't break through all that and purge all that programming about what we believe keeps us somewhere, what we believe, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about someone else, the judgment we have on ourselves, the stories we have, the programs we're running, it can take years and years and years and years to go through those deep clearings. Even when you're in the middle of ascension, you know, it's not just awakening that stuff. When we start having to rearrange things, that's harsh to our human, because we go through a long time period where we don't have a lot to realign. We might not have a lot of money to do a lot of stuff with. We are not given those things until we clear enough of the programming to where we would rebuild it differently. Because if not, well, like I said, we rebuild it the same way, because we haven't been kind of deconditioned enough. We haven't been deprogrammed enough to not go back and build it the same way. That's when you see a lot of people talking about abundance and getting into my abundance energy. If we don't understand what true abundance is, we're never going to reach that. Abundance isn't the cars and the money and all those things. It doesn't mean you can't have those things, but you put them in service differently. You spend your money differently. You spend it for humanity. It's not just your money. It's for what can I do for everyone with this pot of money I have. But if you got all that stuff back right away, once you go through what a lot of people call the eye of the needle, where kind of everything goes away and you can't take any of the stuff with you, whether it be when everything starts collapsing and you're having to try to rebuild it, you will notice that it's going to take a long time. Because we have to know a different way to go. And we have to have been so deconditioned to our human condition that we're not going to sit there and take everything we get and put it all the way back into a human consciousness reality, and then we're right back where we started from. That's why the process takes time. The deprogramming takes time. It can take years, and I don't know anyone that's gotten through it in less than years. And if anyone tells me they have, I don't know if I believe them. There's too much of it, and you can always tell kind of where people are as to, you know, how they say, what their the comments they'll make about certain things we might be doing in different parts of ascension, because they might not be at that place yet. Thinking they can keep their old human reality and just tweak it here and there because their human realities were somehow soul aligned, which they're not. And they will all change. But they're just not at that point yet. So really look at what we feel is trapping us. What keeps us from doing that thing? Whether it be our mental beliefs, whether it be physical stuff that we have now put in our way as to an excuse. What is the excuse? That's probably the better word I want to use. Because life is not limiting our choices. Our excuses limit our choices. How we wallet ourselves in limit our choices. All that stuff is what limits us. It's not life itself. Life itself doesn't have a limit. We're putting all those limits on us, whether it be, oh, I'm too old, I can't learn something new, I can't do that, or like I said, or I'm too good for that. I've had so many people say that. Oh, I'm too good to do that reality. You know, another thing your universe will show you is you're not that. Our human has to be really kind of stripped down. You're not that important. Especially your human consciousness. It's not that important. Higher consciousness, yes. Your human consciousness, no. It's not that important. And when we live from that, nothing we built is that important. Because it's not built on anything pure. It's not built on anything, whether it be pure, whether it be divine. It's not built on that. It's built on what we want out of it. Every human reality is what we want out of it. And when we really start to dissect them, we start to understand why that's not unity consciousness. That's not an ascended reality. That's an everyone working together when it's what's in it for me. If we're still saying what's in it for me, you're not going to have anything for yourself because we're still kind of in that mentality of, oh, I haven't cleared enough of it yet. When I'm still asking about, oh, when do I get all the stuff? When is all the stuff coming in? I haven't cleared enough of my programming yet because I still think that that's what I want. I still think that that's what's important. I'm still not seeing that all that stuff has to clear before we get anything else, because if not, I know I keep repeating this, but I think it bears repeating. We would build it the exact same way. We would not build it on anything new. We would be supporting old Earth. We would not be supporting new Earth. We would not be supporting our soul line realities. We would be doubling down once again on our human realities, but it'd be a little twist to it, so we'd feel like it was a little bit different. It looks a little bit different. We'll put a little fresh coat of paint on it, but it's really the same thing. So I think this is going to be kind of a short one today. So I think I'll leave it at that. All right. Keep practicing the art of intuition.